Well, welcome in, Cavs fans, to another post-game episode on the Cleveland Cavaliers on SI YouTube channel. And tonight, we're coming to you after yet another victory. The Cleveland Cavaliers take down the Utah Jazz. I guess the second Cavaliers. We got a bunch of old Cavs on that team, but they take down the Utah Jazz 124-113 to move to a staggering 26-4 record to start the season. And now we're even getting past the start of the season, Spin. We're getting to the point towards the middle here where we're talking All-Star game. We're starting to talk like postseason stuff. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, man, they have not let off the gas at all. They've started fast. They've continued to play really, really good basketball, and they're continuing to win a bunch of basketball games. And tonight was another great example of, hey, Cavaliers got out to a good start. The Jazz fought back. The Cavs found themselves in a little bit of a dogfight, and they got to win. It's another awesome night for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I think what's good about this one is that the last couple games, maybe they haven't been in, I wouldn't say competitive games, but they just haven't been in those situations down the stretch where they can apply some principles, maybe even from the coaching side, that they haven't been able to really do as of late. And it's good to kind of get one of these games that is closer. You have to execute. You have to know your triggers. You have to know your defensive principles, all of that good stuff. And they had to win one. They had to actually win one in crunch time instead of just running away with it. And the benches are emptied by the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter. So even though it came against a Jazz team that's 7-21, they had won a couple in a row. They beat Brooklyn. They beat Detroit. You mentioned it, the old Cavs, man. Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and Lauri Markkanen, they showed up tonight. They gave them a heck of a battle. They were making their shots and being aggressive, but the Cavs just continued to execute. I thought their offensive execution was good tonight. The story of why this game was so close was because Walker Kessler was rebounding on every single offensive possession that the Jazz had after the Cavs were able to get stops. And the second chance points really hurt Cleveland. But the Cavs were able to overcome that. They were playing a fast game. They had 10 fast break points in the first 8 minutes of the game. They were still playing their style. They were still swinging the ball. There was no hero ball. A bunch of different guys with assists. I think there were, 1, 2, 3 guys with 4 or more assists, taking care of the basketball. They only turned it over 9 times tonight. So even though it looks kind of ugly against the Jazz team that was finishing up its road trip, and the Cavs obviously getting ready to go on their road trip after the holiday, I feel like this was a good way to end it. They went perfect on the homestand, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't the best game that they've played, but they were still able to get this done and finish it out perfect.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that while the Jazz aren't, I would say, a contender in the Western Conference by any means, every time they do come to Cleveland, I know Colin Sexton for sure. Every time he comes back to Cleveland, tries to put on his best effort. And Lauri Markkanen the same. Jordan Clarkson, I almost forgot about it, and it was funny. I was watching the game. I'm like, holy cow! I went back and watched some of those old LeBron and Jordan Clarkson and that group. If you don't remember, that first game they had, it was against the Boston Celtics, and they won by 50, something ridiculous. It was here we go again. But it's always fun seeing those guys back in town. And Spin, what's also fun is when that Cavs offense is rolling. And tonight we got even another level deeper. We found another element, a guy who not typically a starter, started tonight, Sam Merrill, and he made the most of it. Went 6 of 11 from 3. Finished with 20 points and provided a legitimate spark for this Cavs offense. And when he can shoot it like that, man, this Cavs offense is going to be really, really tough to kind of corral.
And you know that he's capable of that. We've seen that last year many a times, how much of a spark plug he can be. He is somebody that really has a lot of gravity on the outside and utilizes it to his advantage when he's allowed to put it onto the floor and create for others. And you saw that quite a bit of times with Evan Mobley, just a couple of plays that running off of dribble handoffs, coming in off of the pin downs and shooting on the move, finding him in the corners. He's just so dynamic in the sense of he brings defenses with him. And that's what's so dangerous about Sam Merrill. And, you got to kind of give credit to Kenny Atkinson. He doesn't have Dean Wade. He doesn't have Isaac Okoro. Some people maybe think, you start Max Strus or Karis LeVert since they've been in that position before, but he went with Sam. countering Utah Jazz's 7-foot size. They played, 3 guys who are above 6'10", and you bring in Sam Merrill as your 3-man instead, and you counter it with speed. And I think that the Cavs, they executed their speed, and they were able to beat a lot of guys to the point of attack and did a good job of executing and swinging the ball. But I think ultimately, again, I'm looking at Evan Mobley, man. I'm looking at Evan Mobley and the way that he handles the ball, and something that I brought up, and you'll see on our post-game reaction and post-game videos that we have on our YouTube page. Evan's just doing so much off the dribble and creating for others, but at the same time, he's being way more aggressive as a scorer. Mm-hmm. He's a lot more free and comfortable taking the outside three. He had another pull-up tonight. He had a couple in the corner. You look at just the way that he's getting into the paint with an array of dribble moves, going to the hook shot, using his left and his right. I love when he goes left. I still have this agenda to share with everyone that I think that Evan Mobley is a left-handed basketball player. He just continues to make teams pay when they force him left. And he got another dunk tonight on top of somebody. I can't remember who it was, but he posterized someone at the beginning of the third quarter. Back-to-back games now that he's done that. Remember, he got Andre Drummond and KJ Martin on Saturday night. So Evans just continued to grow in that way. And then one more thing with this Cavs offense. I still don't think we're talking about Darius Garland enough, guys. Yep. He's steady Eddie this year. The way that he's able to take care of the basketball, and I found it really interesting pregame. They asked Kenny Atkinson, I should say, about why Darius's turnovers are down. And Kenny said that he's trying to get Darius to use that kind of probe dribble and make sure that he's making the best read, not just the first read. And how guys like, Steve Nash used it and did it to their advantage. Tiny Archibald back in the day. And really making teams defend you when you're snaking around the court and looking for the next best option and the best option overall in a set play. So Darius has been phenomenal in that. He hit 3 more threes tonight. Still probably didn't take enough for a lot of people's liking, including Kenny Atkinson. But the way that he's gotten in there, he's getting to the free throw line, using that floater and just being a catch-shoot threat. He's been terrific this year too. So kudos to Darius and Evan. I think they were probably the best players on the floor tonight for the Cavs. But, I mean, again, you look, Donovan just, ends up closing the game out the way he does. George Niang making a winning play, wrestling the ball away from two Jazz players at the end. Those are the winning plays that get you where you are.
So let's stick there for a second. We appreciate everybody jumping in with us tonight. I know there's a lot going on. We're 8 minutes away from Christmas Eve. So if you're wrapping presents or doing whatever, I know Spin's got more shopping to do tomorrow to get his Christmas shopping all wrapped up. But we appreciate you jumping in with us. Also, jump into the comment section. Our guy Spin, Oren, is back all the way from Raleigh. Didn't know Oren was from Raleigh. We love seeing you in the comment section. So everybody, jump in if you're watching with us tonight. Let us know your thoughts on the game tonight, Spin. But let's stick on Evan Mobley here for just one moment, because I'm a touch removed from you, right, Spin? You are there every night. You can see my backdrop here behind me. I'm a little more football focused on our side of things. So I'm just a 1 degree removed from Cavs coverage. And from my vantage point is that over the past week, over the past couple of days, Evan Mobley has been a little bit different, in my opinion. Like, there's some real, legit highlight plays where you mentioned him. He's dunking on people. He's going to the hole hard. But one of the plays that stuck out to me tonight was, I think it was in the second quarter. The Cavs were doing a little swing. There was a drive in there. It may have been Darius, kind of kicked it to the corner, and then Ty Jerome caught it on the right wing and had a good shot, but he passed it up to give Evan a great wide open 3 ball. And for the first time ever in my fandom of watching Evan Mobley, I was like, oh, this is cash. And it was nothing but net. And this dude, Evan, from underneath the rim all the way out to the 3-point line, has made himself a legitimate threat. And he's a guy that's like a total difference maker when he's on. And he's been on the past couple of nights. And it adds an element to this Cavs team that it's like, this is a 7-foot cat who's like a guard. And he's really, really tough to guard.
That's what his, kind of profile was coming into the draft. And it seems like adding that shooting element has really helped create that profile for him. And now what you're going to see is a lot of teams are going to start to close out a little. You kind of saw it this weekend when Donovan Mitchell told this to me, when Donovan Mitchell was in the corner and Evan Mobley was there. Paul George had to inch towards Evan Mobley on the perimeter because he pump faked. And just that split second allows Donovan Mitchell that space for Evan to make the next swing into the corner and Donovan to hit a shot. That's just one example of how Evan's outside shooting threat can really change things. Now, when you start to see him put it on the ground and try to take it to the hole and he's going left, now you're going to notice teams probably try to start to wall him off and try to get, doubles over there. And what's that going to do? Everyone on the Cavs can pass, dribble, shoot pretty much. Yeah. And now if they're going to send two at Evan, then that means that someone's not on one of Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell or Sam Merrill or Max Strus or Karis LeVert. Go down the list. George Niang. Maybe the paint's open with Jared Allen because there's two being sent at Evan on the ground. So that is ultimately like the growth that I think a lot of people in this organization have envisioned, and you're seeing it play out game by game. But really, man, I mean, you saw he was nominated for Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He did not win. Cade Cunningham did of the Pistons, but Evan is just he's on another like monstrous like level right now, and there's just this focus in his eyes that you can see, and even when you just look at the body language of the 3-point shot too, like he is just clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it helps. I mean, this roster, you went through some of the threats there. Tonight, it was a perfect example of Cavs basketball. Evan Mobley finishes with 22 points, 10 rebounds. Darius Garland, 23 points, 8 assists. You touched on DG. I'm going to get to him here in a second. Donovan Mitchell, we're going to have a fun conversation about D. Mitch here because 22 points, 7 assists, and it felt like he had two personalities in this game. And it was really, really good to see. And then Sam Merrill, 20 points, 6 of 11 shooting. Karis LeVert finished with 11 points off the bench. So you had 4 starters score over 20 points. You had 5 guys in double figures. And I want to pivot here to Donovan Mitchell because Spin, at the beginning of the game, he felt like he was in more of that facilitator role where he was kind of letting everybody else cook a little bit. And then towards that second, third quarter, he was like, okay, this is going to be a tight game. I need to get to my shots. I need to start making shots. He had a couple triples there in the second quarter. And then in the third quarter, when they had their little avalanche and got hot from 3, he was obviously in the thick of things here. I mean, you're running out of superlatives and good things to say about Donovan Mitchell, the way he's playing this year. And I thought tonight was a prime example. He didn't blow up the scoreboard, but he did everything he needed to do to push the Cavs to victory against his former team.
It's a different season for Donovan Mitchell. This is something he's not used to. He doesn't always have the highest amount of touches on the team. He doesn't always have to carry the load and score 40 a night. This is a guy that's sitting back, realizing that Evan Mobley has the hot hand right now, realizing that Darius Garland is developing at a very high rate, and seeing all the growth around him and knowing when to step up and when they need him to be the guy to carry the team, or when to, I don't want to say defer, but when to get them the ball and be, as Kenny Atkinson calls Donovan, the Evan whisperer. Like he's finding a perfect balance between being that superstar presence they so need, and also acknowledging the fact that the other guys have to come up with him in order for them to get to a championship level. And I think it's more than obvious when you watch these games that that's exactly what's going on. And, the usage might be a little down and the touches might be a little down, but Donovan is playing some very efficient basketball. You're going to start to see those numbers and those shooting numbers get better throughout the season. Don't worry about that part. But he's doing the little things to win. He's stealing the ball like crazy right now. He's deflecting some of these shovel passes he has, and the drive and kicks when he's drawing a couple bodies to him. Like he had one where he was going baseline and with his left hand started a pass out to the perimeter, which was then swung to a better shot for 3 above the break. Like those are examples of what Donovan can do to help this team win when he doesn't have to be the guy. And he consistently talks about Evan Mobley as he's got to be the guy on this team to be at the level he's been at in order for us to take that next step. And I think that he's done a hell of a job of helping Evan get to that level. And same with Darius Garland.
And Spin, I think that it's going to prove dividends later in the season, right? You're not going to have a game 6 where Donovan has to score 50 just to keep the game within reach, because he not only is he taking a step back, but these guys, the rest of the crew, are learning how to be winners or learning how to take games over, and that will certainly pay dividends. You get into a 7-game series against the Boston Celtics or whomever, the Atlanta Hawks or whoever it's going to be. You get into a series in the playoffs, you're going to have 5 guys who can take a game over, 4 guys probably, but you're going to have 4 of those guys, and then Donovan's going to be that that kind of head honcho, the puppet master, if you will. And if he's got to jump in and go, he certainly will have that. We'll have that gear. All right, a comment we just got. It's something that I saw come through, and I was like, all right, Spin's going to love this. Talk a little bit about Jaylen Tyson. He got a couple good minutes, and he is only scored 4 points. I'm not gonna sit up here and talk and say that he's gonna be the difference maker, but he's a fun little piece, and he's certainly, as he continues to develop and grow, he's gonna be a nice little 6'6" wing defender who's athletic, jump out the gym kind of a guy who you can just throw on maybe the other team's best player at any moment.
You know what? I think he is a difference maker, Megs. No lie. He played 8 minutes tonight. It was 2 shifts, I think, about 4 minutes each. Kenny says that anytime that Jaylen gets garbage time, that he does not see the same player as he does than when he plays with the actual rotational guys. And then it's not fair to put Jaylen in those situations. When he's playing with guys that are in the rotation or everyday players, Jaylen is making a difference right now. He's playing defense like an animal. I think that he gets out in transition. He is very quick. Had a really nice left-handed finish in traffic tonight over Colin Sexton that he did a really good job on. He's running the floor, and you look at the stat sheet, and you don't see much. But you see a guy, when you're watching the tape, in there battling with Walker Kessler and Micah Potter and Lowry Markkanen, just trying to tip the ball around to keep possessions alive for the Cavs, or even on the defensive glass. Like, you see the effort that he's putting in, and that was a couple of my questions tonight. So make sure whoever had that comment, make sure to go to our YouTube page, because we'll have stuff on that from Kenny. But yeah, I agree. I completely noticed Jaylen when he was on the floor, and you can tell when the tempo increases, and he is just a ball of energy. And that guy is so committed on the defensive end of the floor. He told us at the beginning of the year he wants to be like defensive rookie, all first defensive rookie team, right? Like, he wants to be in that echelon, because that was a knock on him coming out of college, is that he couldn't play defense. So he's taking it to heart, and he is playing his ass off, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, it's been fun to see. And as a rookie, you never know where or how much or what their impact is going to be. But when they're called upon, it's great to see that he's answering the bell. And Spin, you oftentimes see, and especially with some of the rookies that we've had, Darius, Evan, for just to name a couple, it takes a while for them to develop, right? You draft these kids; they're so damn young. They're 18 years old. They got to take some time to get going. Tyson looks like he can go now. He looks the part. He's got kind of that NBA style body, and he looks like he can kind of plug and play and be in good shape for the Cavs, because they're going to need it at some point. This depth is going to be tested, and they have some really, really good depth. And right away, Spin, they get a little bit of a break, right? This Cavs team has been one that's been kind of through the ringer in terms of scheduling. They've gotten some relief here in the month of December. They get 4 days off here, get to celebrate the holiday, and then they head west, and they get their West Coast road swing. They go Nuggets, Warriors, Lakers to get it going, and they finish in January with the Mavericks on the 3rd. So that is a 4-game stretch out west, out of your comfort zone, against 4 really, really legit teams. Spin, what are you looking for when the Cavs head out on their road trip here? Because it ain't going to be easy.
I think it'll be their first taste of adversity, other than that Hawks, stretch there. It's not easy to go out west. You have to get used to a different time zone. You're on, like you said, you're on a long break, on a 4-day break. You're not practicing, there's all sorts of things that I feel like West Coast road trips, especially when you're not used to it and you're not used to the different environment. You also have good teams that you're playing. Let's put that out there too. Not to knock the Cavs at all, but they have played a lot of teams in the East so far. This West Coast road trip, it's gonna test them. You've got the Nuggets, like you said, who at any time can detonate offensively. They're not a 3-point shooting team. They're an old school team that does a lot of cutting and gets to the basket. You can beat them when they don't defend because they're very inconsistent in that aspect of their game. But that is going to be a hard game. And don't forget to, at altitude, always have to say that with Denver. You look at the Warriors and the Lakers. The Lakers are playing a lot better since LeBron's come back from his rest. And they have AD and him, going at a full speed. And you have Austin Reeves doing a lot of good stuff for them. Rui Hachimura, same thing. Warriors, they've been kind of up and down, but you always can't count out someone that's got Steph. And they're going to be, they're going to be implementing Dennis Schroeder. He's going to be getting used to that, playing next to Steph, and you still have a lot of talent on that team. And then you close it out that next Saturday against Dallas, and hopefully Luka's healthy, and we see Luka and Kyrie in the full strength Mavs. I think that'd be a great test for the Cavs. But it's a long trip, and quite frankly, like when we've asked them about having long breaks, and like we saw they played 3 games in 13 days or something before this 3 and 4 they had. The Cavs kind of get a little restless when they have too much rest. Yeah. It's different when you play after 1 or 2 days of rest than it is 4 days of rest. So it's possible you see a little bit of rust out there. It's going to be unfamiliar territory, but this is a chance for them to bond on the court, off the court. This is what trips do, brings guys together, and hopefully they come out of it healthy, and then we see them back here and when they play the Hornets.
Yeah, it is a group that gives like third grader vibes, like where they love being around each other so much, being in the locker room together, they're laughing, they're joking.
Wait till you see the super cut I put together tonight, man. Oh my gosh, I'll be up till like 1:30, 2 o'clock putting this thing together. There was some good stuff. DG was staring directly at the camera for a good part of it too. So make sure to stay tuned for that.
What a perfect teaser. That'll come from Spin's Twitter page directly. But on this West Coast trip, you got the 4, 5, 6, and 8 seeds currently in the Western Conference. So certainly have their work cut out for them, do the Cavs. And it'll be a great test, like you said. Whatever happens, you're going to know a little bit more about what this Cavs team is. If they go out there and they take care of business, they're going to have the whole entire league on notice. Or if they go out there and slip up a little bit, it'll be a really good kind of come back to earth for them, know what they need to work on. So it's going to be an awesome next week. Spin, before we get out of here, the important questions. I got 2 of them. First, did that fresh new haircut come with a receipt, or can you take it back?
Oh, we ain't taking this back, baby. This is a good one. hey, shout out to Yak though. Yak the barber. Make sure to go see him. Stronghold Barbershop in Rexville.
What is the number one gift you're giving this year, or can you not say it out loud? Do we have to wait until after?
I might have an audience right now that's watching at home, so okay. I don't think I can kind of spoil that one, but okay. I think they'll like them. I think they'll like them.
Okay, very nice. What's on the Christmas Day or the holiday dinner table?
Man, K-Dog, Davies, K-Dog, my dad. K-Dog, my dad. Shout out K-Dog. He is making a prime rib. He's smoking a prime rib, I should say. So that is going to beef tenderloin. Sorry, beef tenderloin, I should say. Beef tenderloin. Probably going to have some cheesy potatoes in there. Veggies are usually really good. Sometimes we get like bacon Brussels sprouts or something like that. So we good. No worry. But we got everybody home. It's good. I'm looking forward to it, man. Hanging out for the holidays, and it's always funny that week in between Christmas and New Year's, you always feel like, where the heck am I? What day is it? So I can't wait to see what that's like. And that's also, that kind of applies to the road trip too. If you think about it, man, like they're all human. So it could be like the same thing.
You get into those trips, you get into these weeks, and you're just like, all right, the sun's up. I got stuff to do. Don't care if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We just go and get it done. But for tonight, guys, thanks so much for jumping in. We have a really good audience tonight. So like I said, if you're up folding or wrapping presents or up doing whatever, we appreciate you jumping in and hanging out with us for a little bit as we recap. Just another great win for the Cleveland Cavaliers, 124-113 over the Utah Jazz. And while this team is on a break, we'll still have you filled with content. So get over to our Twitter page, Cleveland, what is it, CLE Cavs on SI. and then our YouTube channel, Cleveland Cavaliers on SI. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button on both places. We got you filled with content going through the weekend here, and then head over to our site, si.com/NBA/Cavs, or it might be Cavaliers. Right below me right now, NBA/Cavaliers. Go over there. Our team's working really hard to keep it filled with content. All right, Spin, last question. Christmas Day, I'm putting you right on the spot. What game do you have circled in the NBA that you're going to have your eyes on?
Ooh, I kind of want to see Philly and Boston because I think Embiid is going to play, and they have Maxey, they got Paul George. This is a full strength team maybe that we see against the Celtics, and I know that the records aren't great, and that the Cavs took care of business against Philly too. But I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Let's just say that.
It's going to be fun. There's full slate of NBA games for everybody's viewing pleasure. So it's certainly going to be awesome. So we hope everyone has an awesome holidays, whatever you are celebrating. We hope that you enjoy time with friends and family. And then we'll be back with you. We'll have content for you all week long. And then a little sneak preview. We may have boots on the ground out in LA at the Crypto Arena next week. So we'll keep you posted on that, but excited to continue this work for you. After the Cavaliers moved to 26-4, they have a 3.5 game lead on the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference after they take down the Utah Jazz 124-113. For my partner, Spin Davies, I'm Anthony Maglin. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back later on the Cleveland Cavaliers on SI YouTube channel.